We all go a little mad sometimes. Massive spoilers for all 6 Scream movies and huge plot reveals. With the release of Scream 6, there are now 12 total Ghostface killers in this franchise, some that I really, really like, some that I don't like very much. So, of course, I have to do a new ranking of all 12 Ghostface killers from the worst to the best, and this should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is just my opinion. It is not fact. Everyone's going to have a different ranking, so drop yours below. I would love to see it. With that out of the way, starting right off with number 12 is going to be Roman.
Roman Bridger, director.
This is a character that I have never liked, will never like, and it's going to take a lot to dethrone him as my least favorite Ghostface. To start right off the bat, I really don't like that they revealed he was behind the events of the original Scream, that he inspired Billy and Stu to do what they did. Mainly because this character isn't nearly as compelling or intimidating as those two. Billy and Stu were much better characters, and I really dislike the idea that this whiny-ass dude was the one responsible for them doing what they did. Did not like that. The character wasn't written or directed or acted very well. Like I said, he was extremely whiny and really got on my nerves post-reveal. He was a total nothing character pre-reveal. A lot of people say they didn't even remember who this was. Just such a throwaway stock character. And I really don't like the fact that he never even met Sidney before the reveal. When you do a whodunit, you have to have your character, main character, or I guess whoever sees the killer reveal himself, they had to have met at some point in the movie. Otherwise, it doesn't have the impact that it should. So I just think that this character was a total misfire on every level and will probably always be my least favorite Ghostface. Coming in at number 11 is going to be one of the newbies, Ethan. The only reason he's ahead of Roman is that they didn't do this big reveal of him being the one behind some much better, more interesting killers. He's another very throwaway character. I mean, there's a couple funny lines pre-reveal about him dying a virgin and stuff, but aside from that, he's kind of just the guy that just tags along and gets no characterization whatsoever. And then his post-reveal performance and everything he did after that didn't do much for me either. This is just a extremely throwaway killer. Although I will say that his death scene, first getting stabbed in the mouth by Tara and then having the TV dropped on him by Kirby, was awesome and very satisfying. Number 10 is going to be Charlie. Charlie has a couple good things going for him. One of them is he's one of the most brutal Ghostfaces in costume, and that's not really something that I take into consideration when doing this ranking very much, but it is still a little bit of a factor. I mean, you have to give him credit for what he did to Olivia and stuff. And the actual moment where he reveals himself to be one of the killers when he stabs Kirby, I thought that was well done, and the moments leading up to that were very intense. Aside from that, this is a pretty lame killer, to be honest. I mean, he has maybe the weakest motivation out of all of the killers in this franchise. He's basically just a dumb simp who is going along with Jill, and that blinds him to the fact that she's going to kill him eventually. I mean, he should have known that. He was totally just a tool being used by the main killer in this movie, and is very wooden prior to the reveal as well. So not much to say about this character. Pretty forgettable, lame motive. Just a horny simp who was a dumbass and should have known that Jill was going to kill him in the end. Number 9 is going to be Mrs. Loomis.
Billy's mother.
Never been as high on Mrs. Loomis as most people, mainly because she isn't the character pre-reveal. I mean, she has like 30 seconds of screen time total pre-reveal, and then once she's revealed, everyone's like, oh, it was so surprising, I never saw it coming. Yeah, because most people even forgot that she was even in the movie. Like, wait, who's that again? That's not really how you should structure a whodunit. The final reveal should generally, ideally, be someone that's been very well fleshed out, but if not, then make it someone who we at least know them a little bit. That was not the case here. The reveal that she was Billy's mom and is just out for good old-fashioned revenge, I like that. That's a solid motive. Certainly not one of the best in the franchise, but it's a good enough motive, a very understandable one anyway. I also didn't love the performance of the actress after the reveal. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. I'm probably going to put big-ass letters right over my face when I'm editing this, but Laurie Metcalf, I got it. Never mind. Won't have to do that. Editing Kurt, you're off the hook. So, Laurie Metcalf's performance post-reveal, I don't know, it was a bit hammy to me. I didn't love it. Sometimes the cartoonish stuff can work post-reveal, sometimes it can't, and you will see examples of both of those on this list. But Mrs. Loomis is one that I just have never been as high on her as most people. Number 8 is going to be Detective Bailey from Scream 6, Dermot Mulroney, who I really like him. He's been good in everything else I've seen him in. I think he's a good actor, a veteran actor. I don't know what on God's green earth he was doing in this movie. One of the worst performances in the entire franchise. I don't know if it was intentional, what they were doing with the character, both pre and post-reveal. None of it worked for me. He was just acting really weird pre-reveal. Like the crying seemed so fake, which it was, obviously. But other characters in the franchise have sold this stuff a lot better. And again, even if this was the way the character was supposed to be, it just didn't work for what the movie, for the mystery aspect of it. I never bought for a second that he wasn't the killer. And then trying to be badass with like, let's get this fucker and stuff. Like, what is this guy doing? And then post-reveal, acting really cartoony, which I will admit, I enjoyed a little bit more on rewatch. Still quite a bit over the top. And I think almost everything about this character doesn't work for me. But at least, as opposed to Mrs. Loomis, at least we get a decent amount of him pre-reveal, and there are some aspects of him post-reveal that I did kind of enjoy. Definitely not my favorite motive. It's just copying Scream 2, Revenge for Richie, which Richie wasn't even that important of a character. Really, you dedicate the killers of the next movie to getting revenge for him. Don't love that motive. Probably one of my least favorite in the franchise, so all three of these killers in this movie were some of my least favorite in the franchise, and you'll see the third one just a little bit higher, but this is where I have Detective Bailey as of right now. Speaking of the devil, number 7 is going to be Quinn. Hey, Rumi. She is my favorite of the three in this one, mainly because I actually enjoy her a decent amount pre-reveal. I thought she was a pretty fun character. I liked that she was sleeping around with all these guys, and they were calling her a slut, and she's like, no, I'm sex positive. I thought there was some fun stuff there, and then barging in on Chad and Tara and talking about cock blocking and stuff. There was some fun stuff with this character pre-reveal. Plus, I thought it was a damn good twist that she was still alive, because I never even considered that, which I probably should have, given how many times I've seen these movies. Did we see her get killed? No. Then she could still be alive, especially since I knew that Bailey was one of the killers. I should have put together that Quinn was still alive and was also a killer, but I didn't, so that was a good twist, and because of that, she is my favorite of the three new killers. Now, the next two are really close to me, and they have a lot of similarities, and I went back and forth on where exactly I was going to place these two killers, but number 6 is going to be Mickey. Mickey is a very middle-of-the-road killer in this franchise to me, because he's okay pre-reveal, I guess, not much depth to him, doesn't get very well fleshed out. He only really has a few scenes, and they're decent scenes, and I think that Timothy Olyphant does a good job in the role, both pre- and post-reveal, but probably one of the worst motives in the franchise, and then just gets immediately betrayed by Mrs. Loomis. And he also disappears for like 45 minutes of the movie, which is very odd to do that in a Scream movie, a whodunit movie, have one of your main characters who ends up being one of the killers disappear for almost the entire third act until actually between like the second and third act before the reveal. Not a great idea. Again, love the performance. There are some stuff that I really enjoy about this character, but certainly he's just gone down a little bit on my most recent rewatch. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Amber. This is another character that is fairly forgettable, fairly stock pre-reveal. She isn't given much to do. However, she is just so damn enjoyable post-reveal that I can't help but putting her this high. This is a character that grows on me every time I watch this movie and has inched her way up my killer ranking because she's just so damn good after revealed to be one of the Ghostfaces. One of my favorite post-reveal performances of all of the post-reveal performances in the franchise from Mikey Madison. So damn good. Super quotable, like, can't have Halloween without Jamie Lee. So much fun stuff with this character, and I think that a lot of these killers ham it up post-reveal in a way that doesn't work. I think that Mikey hammed it up in a way that did work. I mean, she completely understood the assignment with this character and just so damn entertaining to the point where I had to put her this high despite the fact that she is basically a nothing character pre-reveal. I will say, though, bonus points for being played by my future wife. I mean, Mikey Madison, hit me up. You can stab me anytime. Coming in at number 4 is going to be another killer that's really moved up on rewatches, and that is Richie. This is one that I had, I think, at like number 5 or 6 on my initial watch, but he keeps growing on me. This is either the first or second most well fleshed out killer pre-reveal, and I think that's why he works so well, because he's a guy that seemed like a very caring and loyal boyfriend to Sam throughout the entire movie. Like, there's no way this guy could be the killer, despite a few hints they drop here and there. You think he's just such a nice guy, such a caring boyfriend, is always there to support her, and he seems like he very heavily wants to leave town and get the hell out of here. Like, I can't be the killer. Once he's revealed, it is a bit of a punch in the gut, even if people like myself did expect it, because he seemed like such a nice guy pre-reveal. And then he's really good post-reveal as well, and I really like his motive, the toxic fandom. I think it is perfect and totally fits with the times.
Because nobody takes the true fans seriously. Not really. They just laugh at us. And why? Because we love something?
A lot of people didn't like it, and I think that's kind of proving their point. I thought it was totally timely with the current discourse around a lot of these fandoms, especially like Star Wars and stuff. I thought that was brilliant. Not the most memorable killer post-reveal, and I think he actually gets outshined by Amber post-reveal, but he's still damn good, and one of the best probably the second best character of the killers. We have gotten to the top 3, and this is probably an untouchable top 3 to me. I don't really see any future killers topping this top 3, and if one of them is actually still alive, maybe he can inch up even higher, and that's my number 3, and that is Stu. Stu is just so damn fun, by far and away the best sidekick killer, and he's a character that isn't super well fleshed out either, but he's so much fun, mainly because of Matthew Lillard's performance, another actor that completely understood the assignment. Every time he's on screen, it's just so damn enjoyable and quotable and memorable. Fun character pre-reveal, and then just so awesome post-reveal. Probably my favorite post-reveal performance in the entire franchise as far as the killers go. Just, I'll be back, and these days you gotta have a sequel and stuff. Like, come on, man. I mean, this dude is iconic.
If you get it wrong, booga! You die. Glenn, it's a scream, baby. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back. Fucking hit me with the phone, Dad! My mom and dad are gonna be so mad.
The only thing really holding him back is that he doesn't really have a motive. He's kind of just going along with Billy because of some sort of infatuation with him and is just enjoying it. So that's the reason why he isn't higher, but number 3 is still really high and easily the best sidekick killer in the franchise. Number 2 is going to be Jill Roberts, by far and away the most shocking reveal in the entire franchise. Some people had pegged her because of never getting a solo call, which is something that I never picked up on while watching it for the first time, but I thought her reveal was fantastic. I mean, pre-reveal, she's a decent character, not amazing. I mean, they did a fairly good job of setting her up as the next final girl, at least making us believe that she's going to be the next final girl. I think most people watching that movie that don't pick up on little things like the never getting a solo call just kind of assumed that she was going to continue on in the franchise and basically take over for Sydney. So I loved that subversion that she actually ended up being one of the killers, the main killer by far and away, was just using Charlie. And she is probably my favorite motive in the entire franchise.
How do you think people become famous anymore? You don't have to achieve anything. You just gotta have fucked up shit happen to you.
Which I thought was way ahead of its time, to where she just wants to get famous and creates this whole elaborate scheme of having her and Charlie kill all these people and then gonna blame it on Charlie and her ex-boyfriend Trevor, and then so she can become a victim, become famous. I thought that was absolutely brilliant, and people, I don't think, realized how brilliant it was at the time. It is aged really, really well. So, and I really enjoy Emma Roberts' performance. I know a lot of people give her shit, say she wasn't believable post-reveal. I loved it. I'm sorry. I loved how unhinged she was, and like hurting herself and jumping on the table and stabbing herself and stuff like that. Man, that was just absolutely insane. This girl is out of her mind. The only thing I really have against her is that she got a little bit dumb in the hospital, and there was no way that her plan was going to work anymore when she went over to kill Sydney. Like, wait, how do you expect to get away with this? You're just throwing your entire plan of getting away with that out the window and being seen as the victim. That's about the only thing I have against Jill, but God, she is just such an awesome killer, and there's only one that I have above her, and that is, come on, I mean, who else is it going to be?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
It's Billy Loomis. Billy Loomis, the OG killer, is still, to me, the best in the franchise, and it's going to take a lot to surpass him as the best killer in the franchise. I mean, he is the perfect Ghostface killer. What I love about Billy is not only Ski Erlich's performance, which is perfectly sinister, and it's more of a quiet intimidation factor about him throughout most of the movie. He's manipulating Sydney and manipulating the audience as well, to where we think, God, this guy is so creepy. It's so obvious that he would be the killer, so it can't possibly actually be him, right? And then they basically clear him multiple times, to where Sydney gets a call when Billy is in jail, and then he gets fake killed by Stu, and we think he actually gets killed. Like, oh shit, it's actually not him. So multiple times throughout the movie, they're throwing us off like, wait, is it him? Oh wait, it can't be him. Wait, maybe it actually still is. Oh no, wait, it can't be. Because at the time, we hadn't really thought of the idea that it could be more than one killer. This is the first Scream movie. Obviously, now we know that these movies are probably going to have at least 2 killers, and possibly 3 now, and possibly even more with the next one. But at the time, we didn't know that, and that's why I think this killer is so brilliant. And then the moment that he reveals himself, Jill has definitely the most shocking reveal, but Billy is probably my favorite. Such an iconic, memorable moment in the franchise, and Erlich's performance post-reveal gets even more psychotic and sinister. Just the real him truly comes out, and then we get the motive about him wanting to get revenge on Sydney and his family because Sydney's mom sleeping with his dad is the reason that his mom left. I mean, that is a damn good motive, and even the look on Stu's face, like Stu didn't even know the motive. Absolutely brilliant. I love everything about Billy Loomis. It's going to be incredibly hard to top him as the best killer in this franchise. So there you have it, guys. There's my ranking of all 12 Ghostface killers from the worst to the best, including Scream 6. How would you rank these 12 killers? Drop a comment below. Let's start a conversation. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you enjoy my content in general, subscribe, hit the notification bell, get notified when I post a video. Stay tuned. I got some more Scream content and content in general coming soon. I'll see you soon.